For the past few months, I've come to the realization that most of what I put out, in form of content, the words I say to others, the advice I give, and the suggestions and feedback I most want to share, all these things these are things that most need to hear and practice myself. I'd go as far as saying that my life situation has been set up in a way that mirrors exactly what I personally struggle with by seeing it in others around me, and the solutions to these struggles are the very solutions I offer to others. In actuality, life is exactly like this for all of us. Our lives are mirrors to and for each other. Our external world mirrors our internal world. Hence the saying, no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, but every man is your teacher by Florence Scovel Shinn. I keep getting more aware and attuned to this truth as the days go by. One of the most profound and recurring realizations that have come with this truth is the phrase cheerfully receiving. There is a similar phrase in the Christian Bible that says, freely ye have given, freely ye shall receive. God loves a cheerful giver and a cheerful receiver. From my education into the spiritual nature of our reality, I have found that cheerfully receiving goes way beyond merely receiving gifts and objects. It is a philosophy of life that, if used properly, can yield a life of ease, poise, and splendor. I asked a friend who turned 33 years old recently what his secret was to looking and remaining so young in body and at heart, and he said he refuses to stress about things in his life. His philosophy on life is simple: it is what it is. Mind you, this phrase, it is what it is, can go one of two extreme ways. One person can choose to look at it from the point of view of, it is what it is, and since I can't do anything about it, I will continue to wallow in life's distaste and accept that life is just a bleak, insufferable thing to live in, and it has always and will always be out of my control. So why bother even trying when everything will eventually just go to shit? And another person can choose to look at it from the point of view of, it is what it is, and since life is always going to be uncertain, I will choose to focus my attention on only that which is within my control and leave the rest to the universe to arrange. My only priority in life is to feel better than I was feeling a minute ago and lean into experiences, things, people, and places that enable me to enjoy being more of myself each day. Since life is always going to be uncertain, I might as well enjoy the ride and make the most of my limited time on this earth. A person with a former perspective leans into the nihilistic way of viewing life, while the latter perspective leans into the optimistic way of viewing life. Now, here is where cheerfully receiving comes in. Having in mind that our external world mirrors our internal world, which is just a simpler way of saying we see the world as we are, not as it is, which is a quote by a nice name. So far, I have come to accept that life is a game of perspectives, and we usually get what we think about most of the time. If the majority of your thoughts and emotions are surrounding lack and limitations, then that is exactly what you will see in your outer world. For the mirror of reality must reflect. Likewise, if the thoughts and emotions if the thoughts and emotions in your mind are surrounding abundance and opportunity, then once again that is exactly what your external world will reflect. Cheerfully receiving, as I have come to understand, requires one to look upon life with all its glory and gold, choosing to accept and receive it all with a cheerful disposition. Practice non-resistance and hold on to the belief that this experience that has shown up in my life that I do not want or prefer is here for my good and my favor, even when it seems to be here for exactly the opposite. Cheerfully receiving requires us to lean into the perspective of it is what it is, viewing life from an optimistic point of view. It calls us to live life with a deeper sense of acceptance and choose to only see the good come out of every situation we face. Why? You ask, why should I be optimistic when all that life has shown me so far is disappointments and failures? Because now you know better. You are aware of the way this world works. Our world or our reality is reflective. What we think about and focus on feeling most of the time is exactly what we get to see in our outer world. This is called the mirroring principle, which I encourage every one of you to do a deeper dive into. Attention is the currency we pay for the results we see in our lives. Accepting that everything you see and have in your life is as a result of where you have been focusing your attention the most is a heavy realization that can shake even the toughest among us. This realization calls for a deep investigation of our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors and actions, and our beliefs that we entertain most in our lives. Cheerfully Receiving calls for taking radical responsibility in and for our lives, knowing full well that what we put out is exactly what we get back. Hence the saying, pay attention. The prize being our lived or your lived experiences. Of course, knowing this is the first stage in living a life of ease, poise, and splendor. So give yourself some grace and kindness as you go through as you go through the stages of remodeling your life to one that appeals to you more and more each day. It took a while to get where you are and have what you have. Best believe it will take some time to shift your focus and bring you to your ideal life. Ciao, and catch you in the next one.